I'm Carissa April. I'm chair of the Falmouth Veterans Council, and I will be your master of ceremonies for today's Veterans Day ceremony. For those of you carrying cell phones, I ask that you turn them off or silence them for the duration of the ceremony. And also, we didn't rope off the walkway this year, but we just ask that you find seats if you like and keep that walkway clear. So feel free to stand on the lawn and gather in. We can huddle and try to block some of the wind. But please keep the walkway clear. On behalf of the town of Falmouth, welcome. Thank you for joining us for today's special ceremony and spending your morning with us here on Memorial Lane. If any of you are new to this, if this is your first time, I want you to picture about twice as many people. I think the cold has really kept so many of us inside that just couldn't bear the cold, but we know that you're out there and you're with us in spirit. Again, the music, or just a little, the cold has really diminished a little bit of the turnout, but it's still just a gorgeous day. We're seeing some blue sky come through, and it's just always so great to see everybody. Unlike Memorial Day, which remembers and honors those who gave the ultimate sacrifice in service to their country, Veterans Day celebrates all men and women who have served in the United States Armed Forces. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing or rise and remove your hats, cover your hearts, and direct your attention to the American flag behind me as the Falmouth High School Repertory Singers perform the national anthem. Now, Cub Scout Pack 41, Arrow of Light Den, will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Scouts. For those with seats, please be seated. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the many dignitaries that we've invited today, and many of which are here today. Senator Dylan Fernandez, Congressman Bill Keating, State Representatives David Vieira and Thomas Moakley, Sheriff Donna Buckley, Town Manager Michael Renshaw, and Assistant Town Manager Peter Johnson-Staub, Select Board Chair Robert Muscali, Vice Chair Heather Goldstone, members Doug Brown, Colin Reed, and Jack Richardson. Chief of Police for Falmouth, Jeff Laurie, Fire Chief Timothy Smith, and the Department of Veterans Services Director Jim Guzius and Julie Cadigan. The Falmouth Veterans Council, Carissa April, David Branga, Brian Callanan, John Dillon, Brian Hodor, Ahmed Mustafa, Ron Nassif, Paula Smith, and Elizabeth Sweeney. And former Veterans Services officers Ted Gibbs and Jay Hill. I'd also like to take a few minutes to thank the Falmouth Police, Falmouth Fire, and Falmouth Scouting Honor and Color Guards today. The Coast Guard loves to be with us every year, but this year they can't because they're in a little bit of a budget crisis situation, but they'll be along shortly, we are sure. Reverend Nell Fields from McCoy Congregational Church will now deliver the invocation.
Please join me in the spirit of prayer. God of many names, we thank you for this sacred day when we gather as a beloved community to honor and remember and thank our veterans, the women and men who have served our country in times of conflict and peace. We thank you for all who answered the call to serve, those who took the oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States, those who put love of country above all else, and in many cases above personal safety. We are grateful for who they are and all they did for our country. May we honor them by upholding the values of freedom, dignity, and justice for everyone, not only in our words, but through our right conduct and our kindness toward one another. May we lead by example, acting with compassion and respect for all people, so that the service and sacrifice of our veterans will be honored in how we live each day. Bless this ceremony and all who take part in it, whether actor or observer. May we all be inspired by what we see and hear and experience. We ask this in the name of all that is holy. Amen.
It's my distinct pleasure to introduce today's keynote speaker. My plan is to introduce him, and then it will be 11:11, at which time we will ring 11 bells, and then Wayne will speak. Just fitting the timing in, I think that will work perfectly if that works for everyone. Wayne Soares is an actor, producer, and author. The former ESPN radio broadcaster also entertains our troops overseas and is scheduled to be at Landstuhl Regional Medical Center in Germany next month. Wayne is the creator and producer of the award-winning Vietnam veterans documentary Silent Dignity, which aired on NBC last year, and he's currently co-producing episode 2 with Emmy award-winning actor Armand Assante. Wayne is the author of his new veterans book, Honored to Serve, in Their Own Words, and he debuted his new military musical, A Tribute to the American Soldier, last month. His nationally syndicated column, Veteran Spotlight, appears weekly in the Falmouth Enterprise. Wayne is a past recipient of John F. Kennedy Peace Medal, awarded by the World War II Memorial Committee for his work with veterans. Wayne Source.
Thank you and good morning. It's my honor to present to each and every one of you here today a tribute to the American soldier. The average American combat soldier is a mere 19 years of age. He is a short-haired, tight-muscled kid who, under normal circumstances, is considered by society to be half man, half boy. Not yet old enough to buy beer, but old enough to fight and die to defend his country and to protect the freedom of others around the world. He's a recent high school graduate, probably an average student. He played on one of his high school sports teams and drove a 10-year-old hand-me-down car. He had a steady girlfriend when he shipped out, and she either broke up with him when he left or swears she'll be waiting for him when he comes home from half a world away. He listens to big band, rock, country, and blues, but knows well the distinctive sounds of howitzers, mortars, RPGs, IEDs, and the cannons on an AC-130 gunship overhead. He's 10 or 15 pounds lighter now than he was when he left home, even though he eats as much as he can, whenever he can. He has trouble spelling and is thankful for autocorrect when he's sending emails back home. But he can feel, strip, clean, and reassemble his rifle in minutes in the dark. He can recite the nomenclature of every part of a machine or grenade gun launcher without error and can use either one with great effectiveness. He digs foxholes in latrines and can apply first aid like a true professional. He will march until he is told to stop and stop until he is told to march. He's highly self-sufficient, but he also counts on his brothers and sisters in arms to keep him safe and alive at all times. He sometimes forgets to brush his teeth, but he never forgets to clean his rifle. He can cook his own meals, mend his own clothes, and fix his own hurts. If you're thirsty, he'll share his water with you. If you're hungry, he'll share his MREs. And he'll gladly give you some of his ammo if you ever run low in a firefight. He will regularly do twice the work and draw half the pay of his civilian counterparts while still finding ironic humor in it all. He's already seen more suffering and death than he should have during his short lifetime. Back home at a ball game, he feels every note of his national anthem vibrating through his body while standing at rigid attention, stoically tempering the burning desire to square away those around him who haven't bothered to stand, remove their hats, or even stop talking. With more irony, he notes that his life is now dedicated to defending their right to show disrespect to his flag and to his country. He asks nothing for it in return except our understanding of who he is and what he does for us. Remember him always, for he has earned our respect and admiration with his blood, with his sweat, and with his tears. To all who currently wear or have ever worn the uniform of our country, the United States of America, we salute you. On this special day of honor, we are reminded of the men and women that have served their country. Their voices form a powerful chorus of sacrifice, resilience, and in many cases, healing. These are not just stories of war, they are life stories. Stories of bravery, loss, intense camaraderie, and perseverance. It is my distinct honor to interview these men and women as they offer a rare glimpse into the realities of military life. I am reminded of them today, of Lieutenant Al Benjamin's 31 missions flown with the 8th Air Force and how he was taken to a hospital by the French resistance after he and his crew bailed out after a bombing mission, and of an old woman telling him the story of how her 2 sons were executed by the Nazis as freedom fighters, and of her youngest son that was still in hiding, telling me through tears many years later, it's a moment he will never forget. Of Navy Quartermaster Dick Sherman, amazingly involved in 5 major invasions in the South Pacific Theater, recalling Okinawa, always on the lookout, always on the controls, the relentless kamikaze attacks hitting one of his ships 21 times, and asking him if he was ever afraid, and his direct reply, "You're damn right," every single day. Of Navy Seaman Elliot Sklar, involved in 4 invasions of the European theater, who told of there not being any chance to enjoy the holidays during the war, where his ship was on duty 84 days in succession, and telling me that his ship lived by 3 words: eat, sleep, survive, and how much it disgusted him that African American sailors that had fought bravely and earned medals had to sit in the back of a bus. I'm reminded today of Art Kelly, United States Marine Corps, who recalled coming into Buckner Bay and seeing just 3 ships, then awakening the next day to see over 3,000, and never forgetting the voice of the ship's chaplain on the intercom saying, "God is with us. The second bomb worked." I'm reminded of Bill Blaisdell, Army combat medic at a base camp in Lai Key, of having to assume command in the heat of battle after his commanding officer took a bullet to the head, talking about the haunting memories of putting an injured soldier on a helicopter and wondering if he did enough to save him, and the nightmares that never go away. I'm reminded today of Corporal Frank Borelli, United States Army, telling me of the intense horrors of the Nazi death camp Buchenwald and being led into a room and seeing where SS doctors made lampshades from the skin of dead prisoners, and his commanding officer stopping in his tracks and whispering, "My God in heaven," telling me through tears many years later, it's a moment he will never forget. I'm reminded of First Lieutenant Mabel Peters, Army Nurse Corps, telling me of her work at Sternberg General Hospital in Manila, and of a horrific Japanese bombing, her gasping for smoke, eyes burning, feeling numb, like walking in a dream, and the grotesque scene with patients' bodies blown from beds, her only thought that she must go on to take care of the living. I'm reminded of Lieutenant Colonel Paula Smith, United States Army, who recalled struggling with being a mother in a non-traditional setting in a war zone while she was deployed, and of her son telling her, "Mom, if you die, I want to die with you." I'm reminded today of Colonel Kevin Doyle, United States Army, recalling fighting through the dense jungle in the Ashaw Valley and being on patrol for up to 6 months, slogging through the rice paddies knee-deep in mud, leeches clinging to his skin, all while constantly alert for enemy ambushes. I'm reminded of Private Jim Anacosta, United States Army, telling me of a lonely Christmas Eve at the Battle of the Bulge and of being in a hospital bed next to a young boy that looked just like his kid brother. And when the soldier died 7 hours later, he was placed in the hospital tent morgue, the only body in there. Private Anacosta asking the doctors if he could go on and sit with him so he wouldn't be alone on Christmas Eve, telling me through tears many years later, it's a moment he will never forget. I'm reminded of Sergeant Barry Funfar, United States Marine Corps, who flew an amazing 127 missions as a door gunner, of flying back from Vietnam and being told not to wear his uniform and the devastation he felt, and telling me the war never goes away. For those of us that were there, it never leaves you. And lastly, I'm reminded of my good friend, still with us, 103-year-old United States Army Corporal Chizo Massaconi, telling of the evils of war at the Battle of the Bulge, at the Battle of Iwo Jima, and of an Army dentist pulling the teeth of dead Japanese soldiers to get their gold fillings, and telling me that if you ever wanted to get killed quickly, all you had to do was get out of your foxhole at night. To all that have served our country, I say to you today a most profound and heartfelt thank you for your service to our great country. God bless America. Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne. The military challenge coin has a number of historical explanations, but today challenge coins are used to recognize achievements, build morale, and commemorate events like changes of command. They're given to honor service members or visiting dignitaries and to recognize a job well done. I'll just show you what one looks like. They look like this. This year, the Falmouth Veterans Council and Department of Veterans Services has created a Falmouth Veteran Challenge coin, and we're honored to present one to every veteran present here today. I now invite all our veterans in the audience to form up at the World War I Memorial to pass in review and receive your challenge coin here at the top of the walkway. The pass in review is a long-standing military tradition that began as a way for a newly assigned commander to inspect their troops as the soldiers, sailors, or airmen marched past. Today, these veterans aren't marching for our inspection, but rather to allow us to publicly acknowledge and thank them for their service to our nation. Will the audience please rise and join me in saying thank you while the Falmouth community joins you. I don't know if this is the coldest Veterans Day ceremony, but if you haven't noticed, it's snowing. It's snowing. It's really happening. You may take your seats if you like. I just have a few brief announcements before our closing prayer and we retire the colors. Again, in your minds, pipe the pipe band music in, because it would be now. Lunch will be served at the Falmouth Elks Lodge, located at 140 Palmer Ave. Thank you to the Elks for hosting and the Falmouth VFW for sponsoring this year's luncheon. The Falmouth Community Veterans Center invites you to stop by this afternoon during their open house and enjoy some baked goods. I think dessert is being served over there. Every Veterans Day and Memorial Day, the Falmouth Fire and Rescue Department do an amazing job of staging this enormous flag over Catherine Lee Bates. Thank you so much, and thank you for your honor guard. I'd also like to thank the Falmouth Police Department for making the roads safe for the ceremony and for their honor guard. Thank you to Jeremiah Pearson and the crews at Falmouth Parks Department and Department of Public Works for doing an amazing job of maintaining the beautiful town and especially Memorial Lane here. So I'm out bright and early blowing off the leaves. I'd also like to acknowledge all of our scouts. Thank you for marching and your participation today and everything you do for and around our town and your parents who get you there. Finally, thank you to everyone for your support and for being here today. Rain or shine, the heat, which is rare, but the frigid cold for sure. I'm always impressed and humbled by how your show of support and that you provide. Thank you. For those who are seated, please rise for the closing prayer and the retiring of the colors. Reverend Fields.
May you carry the remembrance of this day in gratitude, and may the service of others inspire you to sow seeds of kindness and mercy in all that you say and do. May God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine upon you and be gracious to you, and may God give you peace. And may God bless these United States of America. Now go in hope and go in love. Amen.
Color guard, retire the colors.
Detail, left hand, hook. Rifle bearer, point, arm. Honor guards, flags, up. Right, face.
This concludes today's ceremony. Thank you again for joining us. Happy Veterans Day 2025.